Alright guys, let's talk about Mountain Motel Massacre, which is a title that I have to look at on my notes to remember because this title reminds me so much of another slasher movie I've watched called Memorial Valley Massacre, which, if you hear both of those names one by one, it seems like they're very similar in name. And this was not originally called Mountaintop Motel Massacre. I think it was released under like 3 different names into theaters. But Mountaintop Motel Massacre is a movie that I watched because of one of my friends on Killer Flicks, Ray Robinson, who's a really cool, really great horror fan. Like, he is really just, he seems like a genuinely nice person, and he's got so many, like, he's seen basically any horror movie ever, so I love talking to him. He's such a great friend. And he recommended this one day, and because of the poster art alone, which will be on my thumbnail for this movie, I had to watch this movie. Now this movie, basic plot of this, it's a slasher, but the basic plot is that this woman named Evelyn, who's crazy after, I think, murdering her daughter? I can't even remember. I watched this a couple days ago, but she is sent into an insane asylum and then comes back to her motel where she's running her motel thinking everything's normal, but then she keeps hearing voices and then starts a killing. And that's the whole movie. And it's a slasher, obviously. There's not much else to it, but honestly, watching this one, I wasn't a huge fan of it at all. Like, I thought this one was pretty forgettable. I did like the Evelyn character. Like, she's not, like, I mean, she's not in it enough. Like, it's trying to make her she is the killer, so it's trying to make her be more off screen, even though you see her on screen for a little bit. But it seems like she's not as much the focal point because it's a slasher. She's supposed to slash people. And I liked her, but there's also a lot of really overacting moments where she just sits there kind of holding her head and kind of shaking, and because, like, she knows she's gonna do it. She knows she's gonna kill somebody, and it's funny, but I don't know, like, overall the movie was just, it was really boring to me. Like, it's one of those slashers where, it's definitely one of those dime a dozen slashers where there are slashers that I love that are like this, but this one I felt like didn't have like the punch I think some low budget slashers like this had for me. I mean, the Evelyn character was fun, and there were some funny lines, like, there's this scene where this guy picks up these 2 girls and they go to the motel and and they almost crash, and one of the 2 girls says, "I think I wet my pants." And then the other girl says, "Well, they were wet anyway," because they were out in the rain. And I thought that was a really silly line. It was funny and memorable. But the movie, for me, just wasn't incredibly entertaining. Like, there are moments like that. There are moments with Evelyn that are funny. And the way Evelyn is what she does before she kills somebody is really weird and silly. Like, she's so devious that she puts snakes in a room for people to get snake bites, or puts roaches in a bed for the guys sleeping, and he just says, "This could be called the Roach Motel." And she's got, like, kind of a scythe. Is it a little scythe? Is that what it's called? And she says, like, "Be gone, Satan," and, like, slashes somebody later in the movie. It was pretty funny. It was funny, but it's not as hilarious as I thought it would be. Like, it makes it, for me personally, it makes it sound like the way I'm describing this, it's more interesting than what it is. Because, yeah, there are moments of all right about this movie, but I just thought it was incredibly forgettable. Like, I don't know. I didn't love it. I honestly, and I hate to say this, I hate to pull behind the curtain, but I barely paid attention to this movie. I thought it was really slow, really incredibly slow, and I watched it on YouTube with a VHS transfer, which looks even worse on YouTube, like, because they copied the VHS transfer. So it looked even more worse to watch, and I know that. And I like watching horror movies on VHS, but, like, I felt like having that transfer downloaded and then put onto YouTube looks worse than what it actually was. if that makes sense. Or maybe it looks the same, I don't know, but for me it just looked like it was a little worse. But yeah, I really wasn't a fan of this one. Like, sorry, Ray Robinson, I don't know. Like, I didn't love this one. Please forgive me. But I thought that this, like, I mean, I thought there were moments of fun in it, but I just thought that overall it was incredibly, like, just not very, very good, like, in terms of entertainment. Like, it had a couple entertaining moments, but they were very few and far between for me. It was just a lot of her making a lot of weird faces and a lot of these boring people getting killed. You don't see a lot of it. You see some kills, which are cool, but for the most part, you don't see a lot of it. And she just does a lot of weird shit, like put bugs in a bed, put snakes in a room to get snake bites. So, I felt like the poster was better than the movie. So yeah, I really wasn't a fan. If anybody's a fan, that's totally cool. Tell me down below if you are, because I do like when people have different opinions. I just didn't care as much for this one. So overall, Mountaintop Motel Massacre is one of those movies that I just kind of am gonna... It went one ear out the other with a couple okay entertaining moments. But it really was forgettable to me in terms of being entertaining. It just had a couple entertaining moments, but that was it. So yeah, tell me down below what you think of Mountaintop Motel Massacre. And thank you guys so much for watching.